This is Abnormal Entertainment.
Trying to sleep away the daylight. Time moves slow, nothing feels right. If I wake, I hope the day is done. And if I don't, it mean to hurt no one. I'm in pain. I'm in pain.
Hey everybody, this is Daniel Garza, and welcome to another episode of Put It Together. I'd like to start as usual thanking my producer, Mr. Kevin Moyers, for all his help and support. Thank you, sir. Inviting everybody to check us out at abnormalentertainment.com, where you can find all the shows on the network. Make sure to check it out. There's new shows every day. If you'd like to follow me, you can check out Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or YouTube. Check out Little Mexican, Lilmesican, for all of the new updates and things that are going on. Also, I want to remind everybody that we have our show, Zodiacs and Candles, every other Monday. Check us out on Facebook, Zodiacs and Candles, for schedules and times. So you can get your latest horoscopes, your intuitive readings, and remember you can chime in, so check that out. I'm going to go ahead and get started this week. I have a couple of friends. You're not going to believe this, but I have Ken and Barby on the show with me today. Hey, Ken and Barby.
Hey.
Hey, Daniel. How are you doing?
That never gets old, Ken and Barby.
No. Well, for us, it might.
I'm going to advise everybody, hold on, because I've talked to these guys before and nothing is ever serious. So, just watch out. These guys are, Barby is the president, Ken is the vice president of International Pain Foundation, iPain, for everybody out there. Make sure to check them out, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. But I met Barby. We met at the Healthy Voices conference 2017 last year. And we will talk about that soon, because applications for Healthy Voices 2018 are open now. So people can register for that. So y'all hear about that in just a minute. Anyway, hi, Barby.
Hi, Daniel.
How's it going?
Good to see you again. I'm doing okay.
Good.
Not my best, not my worst.
I like a so-so day. It has potential.
Yes, it does. And it's early, so hey, I got the rest of the day to make it better.
There you go. I remember you from Healthy Voices because you are a ball of energy.
I am.
You are.
Cheerleader.
I'm a cheerleader. Yeah.
Yeah. You're sunshine in a dress, basically.
Oh.
That was great.
That was great. Yeah.
And I really admire that, because people wouldn't know your backstory, and we'll get that into just a second.
Okay.
But hi, Ken.
Hi, Daniel. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. So I just met Ken 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Well,
right around there, probably a little bit less, but yeah.
At a shoot, and we'll talk about the shoot. There's so much to talk about.
I know.
There is, isn't there?
So much. So let's just get started. Ken and Barby, tell us how you put it together.
I'm going to let Ken tell the story of how we put it together, how we met, and how life-changing challenges brought us to fall in love and also start the International Pain Foundation. Because
cool.
If I say it, people might go,
oh. So here's my version.
Ken tells the clean version.
I hope this has enough sunshine on it. We were both living in Scottsdale, Arizona, and I was at the time starting my own business. We were living in an apartment complex there in Scottsdale, and that's how we met. So
Yeah,
we were actually kind of neighbors. Yeah.
Right. I just moved from Washington State, and I was the head coach at Washington State University for cheerleading and dance. And I didn't know anybody here in Arizona, really. So Ken was my new neighbor, and take it from there.
And so, yeah, right. So anyways, I was home pretty much, during the days, because I wasn't reporting to a clock, a time clock. And she knew that, and because we had met in the parking lot, cross paths, I guess I should say, and she needed some help getting to and from a doctor appointments. And so I was like, yeah, sure, that's fine. And so I was taking her to doctor appointments, just getting to know her and what she was going through. She was going through a shoulder surgery at the time, and she didn't have a diagnosis or anything like that. And she was, getting things done, and I respected that. But through these trips, I got to know her and what kind of a person she is. And I think you said a moment ago, she's like a bowl of sunshine. And I thought the same thing. And not only then, I thought, well, she's got a lot of great qualities that I've been looking for a very long time.
And let me just say, I did not see that in myself. He saw something in me that I didn't. I thought I lost.
Daniel, I think we can all agree we are our own worst critics.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Yeah. So but again, she's going through these things that, health-wise, that she doesn't have any idea what's going on. So I'm sure you probably didn't see, your full potential.
You didn't see my full potential.
Well, I didn't either, but I saw enough. And I saw how you handled yourself and how you approached things. I saw your entrepreneurial abilities, and I just saw qualities that reminded me of, I knew that I was attracted to. Put it that way. Yes.
It wasn't just her boobs.
No. She did say that, right? Okay. Well, I mean, that was helpful.
It's an adult show.
Cheerleader.
We can talk about boobs if we have to.
Right. Now, well, that's a topic that can last all day, right? So anyways, throughout the time of getting to know her and taking her to her appointments, we started really, and then she even started paying me for gas to do so. And I'm like, yeah, okay, that's fine. Of course, I'm struggling myself, so it was invited to, gas money, I'll do anything, right? And so anyways, her money dried up, and she still needed to go to the doctor's appointments. And at that time I had known her, got to know her quite well. So I was like, yeah, jump in. We got to get you there, da-da-da-da-da. So anyways, long story. So
then I started dating him.
Yeah. So we started dating after that because, we got to know each other quite well. And her condition wasn't getting better.
It was getting worse and worse and worse. Every treatment I did, everything they told me to do,
she did. I did. And I watched her do it religiously. I went to every doctor appointment with her to hear what they said. They're like, look, if you don't get this procedure done, your life is at risk. So she'd do that, and that failed and caused more damage. I saw her go through all this stuff, but
to the point of a wheelchair.
Now, to clarify for the folks listening, what was the condition? Do you know?
At that time, we didn't know.
At the time, it took 3 years, 40 different doctors to find out or get the diagnosis, the proper diagnosis of RSD, reflex sympathetic dystrophy.
How many doctors?
43.
43 doctors to get it right.
Serious?
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And
just
by
to
that
get
time,
the
I was in a
diagnosis.
wheelchair. It was full body.
And at the time, it's like you asked most doctors at that time, what is RSD, and they couldn't tell you. They wouldn't know what RSD even stood for. So we've seen a lot of change, but it pulled us together, and with her strong family support, started a foundation.
Right.
And it was because of the needs that we experienced ourselves and realized, oh my gosh, if we're experiencing these difficulties and we see all the needs, maybe we can do something to help and do something about it. And so the foundation was started. And then we moved into, different directions with, our projects and education and defining.
Access to care.
And we really started defining ourselves and what we wanted to stand for and those types of things. So
that's how we put it all together.
What was the name of that? What was the name of that foundation?
That was Power of Pain Foundation. And that was really with her father, which has passed away just not
2 years
very
ago.
recently, but it still feels recent. And so that lasted, how many years did that Power of Pain?
We were Power of Pain Foundation
06.
from November 06 when we started until January of 2016. And then that's when we changed to International Pain Foundation.
And that was after her father's passing.
Right before.
Yeah. Well, there was a vote on it prior to, and then he passed, and so we carried it out to International Pain Foundation, and that's primarily because of the reach that we've gotten over the years. We've expanded greatly thanks to social, internet, and podcasts like yours, and just getting the word out and getting noticed.
Okay, well, let me go to Barby for a second. So you're not feeling well.
No.
You're going back to when he was driving you. You're not feeling well.
I felt like I was on fire. I felt like, and at first it was just my face, neck, and shoulder. And then I had treatments and surgeries and things that complicated it and made the disease spread full body. It's a neuroautoimmune disease. So for some people, it will stay in their hand for their whole life. For me, it ended up with complications spreading full body. But I didn't know I was doing all the wrong things because I didn't have the proper diagnosis.
Now, I don't think many folks will understand what it means to go to a doctor and them not figuring out. And I love my doctors, but sometimes doctors will diagnose something different just to kind of get you going. Did that happen to you?
Absolutely. I was diagnosed first with whiplash. They told me I'd be better in 3 or 4 days. And that turned into months, and that turned into almost a year. And then a new doctor said no. They did a vascular study on me because if I turned my head to the right or if I raised my right arm, like to draw, even to just hold the steering wheel, I would pass out.
She caused an accident at one time.
I did. I caused an accident on the interstate because I went to change lanes and I turned my head, and the doctor said I was fine to drive, so I was still driving.
Yeah. She backed up the whole interstate during rush hour traffic, 4 lanes of traffic. Yeah.
3-car accident.
If you're going to do it right.
Right? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Grand scale.
Right. So I woke up to the police knocking on my window trying to wake me up. But my blood flow was cutting off. And so they said, you have thoracic outlet syndrome. You have to have your rib removed or you're going to die. So I didn't stop. I didn't research. I didn't question. I just
did what the doctor ordered.
That same week I went in for surgery, and that prior to that I had shoulder surgery. I went through months of $35,000 worth of physical therapy. And
it wasn't working.
Nothing was working. So, and then that surgery, I woke up, and it wasn't just my face, neck, and shoulder anymore. It was my whole arm. It was the right side of my body, and it. I had tumors. They tried medications where tumors started growing in my mouth.
That led to another surgery. Right.
Like my favorite thing about me is my teeth. Like that's like my what?
No, she said her favorite thing, not your favorite thing.
My favorite thing is my teeth.
I love how I can be a perv without saying a thing.
Because it takes one to know one.
I'll go with that.
I had tumors grow in my mouth, and that was the worst surgery. I've had a lot of surgery, more than I stopped counting at 50 surgical procedures. Over this time, but over $1 million in medical bills. But the worst one was when the tumors grew in my mouth, and they had to cut my gums. They cut the top 6 teeth, the gums off, and peeled it back, took out the tumors, and then they
even called them pregnancy tumors.
They called them pregnancy tumors, but I wasn't pregnant. And they hooked the gums.
And the best thing that we can think of is the medication.
Well, that's what they told me. They said verapamil causes pregnancy tumors. Who would have knew? They could have told me that. It also causes kidney stones. So now I constantly create kidney stones, and it's.
Well, you're not on verapamil. Let's be clear about that. But once you start kidney stones, you
keep creating them.
All right. So if you can put it, and I know this might be difficult, if you could put it in words, how you felt every time after 43 doctors, every time you went to a new doctor, every time they misdiagnosed you, can you tell folks listening how you felt?
I was newly encouraged every time I had a new provider to go and talk to.
But your skepticism rose and rose and rose.
It rose, but I didn't do anything for myself until the 43rd doctor. And he actually came in. I brought him 3-inch binders of medical records. And he looked at everything before he even came into the room. And he was the first doctor to do that. Before that, I put all my trust, hope, effort, everything into the doctors instead of into making sure that I was okay. I didn't ask questions. I did what I was told. I was a good little soldier. I didn't lead my team. I didn't care.
If they gave her a medication and say, take this at 6 and 12, she did 6 and 12. It was like, okay, you're following directions the way they say, and nothing is getting better.
Everything's getting worse.
And tell this last doctor, when he says, I think I know what's going on, because he took the time to research and but he was a pain doctor. And we didn't even realize there's not pain management clinics in every state. I just thought they were a common thing.
Wow.
You know,
well, you know what they say, 43rd time's the charm.
It is. Well,
it does have the 3 in it.
He was the first time I advocated for myself. He said, I think I know what you have. And I said, well, I've been a guinea pig for 3 years.
Well, and even then his suggestion was a spinal cord stimulator.
Right.
Where, which.
I said, let me go home and study.
Yeah.
And I'll come back and tell you what, now that you think you know what it is and you want to give me another procedure to find out if it's true. Let me study
the diagnosis and see what other people are doing. And let me just find out what it's about.
Yeah.
And when you get that diagnosis, when you get a proper diagnosis, you can really start studying what it is that you're going through, and everything starts clicking. Why I feel this way, why I do that, and why this hurts, and why that, and it all starts clicking and falling in line. Right. And until you have that, everything is like a mystery. Why do I do this, or why does that happen?
Right. And I also learned that doctors are practicing. They say practicing.
But they practice on you.
They literally are practicing on all of us as patients. So you have to find what's best for you, but you also have to stand up for yourself and know that you can tell a doctor, no, I don't want to do that procedure. No, give me time to go home and study and look it up and figure out if it's right for me.
You've got to do your due diligence,
and I didn't do that.
You've got to be your own best advocate, and those are some of the things that we just really try to pound in people's head. You've got to understand your education. You've really got to understand. The more you can understand your diagnosis, the more or better you can treat yourself and know how to speak to the doctors.
And use your doctors as team members, and you lead them.
Right. So I wanted to go back because I really want folks to understand, after everything that I've been through medically, to get you. So 43rd was the good doctor.
Yep.
Go back to doctor number 42 and walking out of his office. And again, it's not working. What goes through your mind? What were you thinking?
Well, she actually gave me hope. She said, I can't help you. I don't know what you have. I don't know what's wrong. But I think I know a doctor that might.
Okay.
And that was the first time that a doctor might know what's wrong.
Wow.
I mean, I had issues and challenges with my lungs, with my heart, with vascular constriction, with memory, everything. Like all aspects of my life, physically, emotionally, spiritually, financially, every aspect of my life was devastated. So that 42nd doctor, I went there with great hope for her to help me. And she was actually a plastic surgeon. And one of the doctors prior to her said, your whole issue is that your boobs are too big. And if you get them cut off, then you won't have back pain anymore. So they
which will lead to this.
Right.
It's crazy, some of the things that you hear.
So they sent me to her to have my breasts removed, and she said I could do that, but it's
not your issue.
Nothing for you.
It's not your issue. And then she led us to the doctor that gave us the proper diagnosis, which happened to run a pain clinic.
Mm. So what was the craziest thing they diagnosed?
Well, I think the craziest thing was my boobs are too big.
Yeah,
that's the craziest.
They suggested a breast reduction.
And although they are big,
we're not dealing with just back pain here. This is not like just like my shoulders hurt. This is something way beyond that.
Yeah.
And you can't be afraid to go find a new doctor if your insurance will allow it. You've got to get other
access.
You've got to get more access. You've got to get other opinions.
And if you don't have insurance or you don't have good insurance, I would suggest that you go to pain conferences or go to conferences for, if you know what your disease is, go to conferences that have doctors speaking about, hang up, pick it up, hang up. There we go. Okay.
You okay?
Yeah, someone was trying to call, sorry.
The phone rang, sorry.
Okay, so, and you probably can't edit this, but sorry.
I'm gonna mute.
So the doctors, what the hell was I talking about?
So let's go in another direction, because I want to hear too, from my personal experience, especially the last thing, going through cancer.
Yeah.
Christian, my boyfriend, he had his own emotional, energetic, psychological issues that he went through. You guys are in a relationship. Ken is like, this is the perfect woman for me. And now she's sick and you can't figure out. How does that make you feel?
Me or Barbie?
You, Ken.
Me. You know, it's something that is important to talk about, because I think a lot of couples go through this very thing. And, you know, I saw the things that I liked about Barbie were not things that the things that I liked about Barbie were her qualities, not her sickness. And that means that even watching her go through her sickness, I saw those great qualities come out that would get her through these things. But really, it's hard to get past a lot of things that, you know, my family won't accept me. I can't go out with my friends. My friends look at me and they talk behind my back. This, you know, you've got to really get, you know, some thicker skin and really determine what makes a difference, what matters to you, and put yourself ahead, or put yourself first, and your partner, because that is, you know, you can't. I suppose you can just throw everything away and start over, but I don't think that's how we're really wired. So I think it's really difficult conversation for people to have. But if you can really find something that you can and have a common goal with, and a lot of people, that's children, with family, that's children. There's your common goal. That's what we can build on and stay in cohesiveness, and it provides the glue, you know. So find something that you can both work on together and row the boat in the same direction, and you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Those naysayers, they'll go away. Those voices, they'll start getting lighter and quiet. You won't even hear them after a while if you can just find something that you can both focus on and do together. But it does take a team. You know, one person can't be the cheerleader the whole time. So it does take, you know, equal effort on both parts. But always remember, you know, my partner that's going through the pain doesn't choose to be in this pain. Right. And a lot of times it's hard to decipher or get past some of the things that you are faced with, because they don't teach you these things.
Right.
These are experiences.
Did you give yourself permission to get mad, to cry, to be upset?
No, I gave myself permission to know that I can't when I see her going through her painful, you know, worst moments, I gave my permission not to get down about it, because I can't fix it. I can't fix it. Therefore, I can't allow myself to, you know, really fall into a depression. I have to look at this in a different way. For myself, every time, you know, in the beginnings, you know, when she felt bad, I was like, I can fix this. I can do something to make her feel better. Well, when you give yourself permission that you can't, because you just can't. I mean, yeah, you can bring somebody a cookie or an aspirin, or, you know, you shut the lights out. You can do those things to make things more comfortable and help somebody get through something, but you still aren't responsible for the disease condition.
That is such a good point, because I think a lot of partners who are the caregivers,
they try to fix everything.
Right. They take on their responsibility, like, this is somehow my fault, or I need to fix this. And then that, I don't know, Barbie, about you, but that felt like extra pressure for me because not only am I having to take care of myself, but now I had to make my partner feel like it's not your fault.
Right.
And I'm like, I don't have time for you right now. Like, don't.
Right.
And I made a conscious effort to never take it out on Ken and always let him know I appreciate anything that he does do and that I know that it's not his responsibility to make me better. And so I think that helped a lot. And then also, back to Ken and Barbie, we're sexual. I understand that in a partnership, you have to have physical human connection, and that if you can do it, we'll find a way to do it. So it might not necessarily mean sex. It could just mean holding hands or sitting and watching. Like Ken plays video games, and there was times like I would be in too much pain. I couldn't even hold my hand was curled up, but I couldn't even hold the joystick to play a video game. But I would sit for hours and watch him while I was laying down. And I would cheer him on and be like, go NCO or whatever character he was in the moment. And I'd be his little cheerleader just to have that bonding time with him and keep us close, even if we couldn't always have sex. But when it was like, hey, you want to have sex right now? Well, right now I'm in a little too much pain. Let's plan for tomorrow, right after, 30 minutes after I take my pain medication so that I'll enjoy it as much as you. And so I never would say no without a backup or a follow-up or what?
Let me do some drugs first and then we'll get it on.
No, let me help lower my pain so I'm ready.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah.
Because I want to have a good experience and I want the endorphins.
You don't want to do something for fun and just end up causing a pain flare. But you've got to, it brings on new challenges.
And new conversations that you don't normally, like a healthy person doesn't say, hey.
In every aspect, there's new things to understand and learn and grow through. Yeah. And that's just one of them. But if that goes away, then, your relationship really is hindered. Yeah. It really does harm the relationship if you have that connection fall apart.
Right.
Because
in other ways, like doing non-physical activities, but being together and cheering each other on at the same time.
No, I get it because for those of you who are not familiar with the story, I went through anal cancer, and radiation caused a lot of damage. So there was leakage. So for a while I had to use a diaper. And now I have an ostomy, so it makes it easier. But
though you had to learn and grow through all of it. And that is not something that is taught. It's how do I deal with this? And if you can have a loved one by your side and say, hey, this is okay. We're going to get this together. We're going to go through this together. It makes things so much easier.
Because I would want to be somewhat intimate.
Sure.
I was always afraid that the diaper would smell or there was going to be an aroma and you panic. And I did break down, though. There were nights when halfway through there were a couple of nights when I was so exhausted because I had to shower every time something happened. And there was one day when I showered like 6 times in one day. And I was so tired that I was like, I don't want to wake up tomorrow. And I was screaming and it sounds hysterical now, but I was telling Christian, please grab a pillow and just do it. Just
hold it over my head.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm like, I will write a letter to tell them that it's not your fault, that I told you to do it, but just do it. And
I'll write a letter. I'll write your exoneration.
Yeah. And he would look at me and goes, that's not how it works, honey.
It's not how it works.
But
it's not. Sometimes you do wish for that because, and you know what? Those challenges that you had to grow through makes you a much stronger person than people that don't have to deal with any of that stuff. You've got strengths that people can't even touch.
There was times I thought.
Yeah, go ahead.
There was times that I thought I was going to die, and that Ken would come home from work and he would find me dead because it was just that bad. It wasn't like I want to die. It was I think I'm going to die, and what is I have to live through this moment so that Ken doesn't come home and have the shock of finding me.
Yeah, that would kind of suck.
I'm gonna get a little into the morbid side of it all. because Christian didn't want to have these conversations, but there were nights we would lay there and I would say, look, if I don't make it through this, this is what I want. This is how I want things done. This is what I want for you. Did you guys go through that?
I did, and I didn't just have Ken sign it. I put it in writing. And I also had all of my family members sign it. Every family member that was living.
You're talking about
yeah, I'm like, when I die, this is what I want. Yeah. No, I'm not talking. I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking about my will. Like when I die, I don't want a funeral. I want a celebration, and I even gave them a disc of pictures and said, use these pictures as my pictures because this is how I want you to remember me.
Yeah.
I have no idea where that disc is.
Yes, you do. It's in the safe. But I also gave a copy to all of my siblings, and my parents were alive. I gave it to my parents. And
I'll just find a playlist on YouTube. Say play.
But I
have a playlist. I have the playlist.
Yeah, I have my songs listed.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
And so I have that as well. And I asked Ken, what do you want? I asked him the same questions, and he's healthy, and he's never told me like what he wants. If something happens to him, I don't know what his wishes are. Whereas
I think it's much easier for people that are going through these types of experiences to get there on that level. You're asking me what? I can't even okay, yeah, sure, I guess bury me here. Yeah. I don't know.
Because Christian doesn't have that either.
Yeah, but it's scary to me because.
Well, I think I haven't gone through a near-death experience or, like I said, yourself, Barbie, people that have gone through these types of challenges and difficult challenges have more strength than a normal, average, healthy person can think about on so many different levels that it cannot compare. You put somebody that is in excruciating pain and put them into remission, and they're just the strongest person ever because the things that they have experienced.
I've told people that it's kind of like the Spider-Man movie, like the spider bites him, and instead of killing him, he gets stronger. I'm like, every time my body goes to something, I feel like I become stronger.
Yeah.
That's
a very good analogy.
You do. I think you're right. This is a good one. Spider-Man, because everybody can relate to Spider-Man and the whole analogy and scenario and everything. And I think it's true. I think the more struggles you go through, the stronger person you become.
Yeah. Now this question's for Barbie. Yeah. Does it make you less tolerant of other people when they talk about simple pains like a headache?
No, but people assume that it makes me less tolerant. People will be like, well, my pain's not as bad as yours. And I'll be like, why are we comparing pain? That's what you're experiencing. This is what I'm experiencing. I want to know sometimes if someone's having a bad day. I want to know that I'm not the only one and that some other people's lives suck too.
Because I'll tell you, I'm a total dick about it. People come to me with like, oh, I woke up with this headache. I'm like, oh, you woke up with a headache.
Take some Tylenol.
Yeah, I wake up with arthritis pain every day.
You can start that violin, right?
Yeah. Or people tell me, oh my God, I've been on medication for a week. Oh, really? I've been on medication for 17 years. But yeah, tell me about your pain. What's going on with you? I have no pity.
Okay, so do you find that people are like, oh, I found an expert that I can talk to. I found somebody that has way more experience with this than I do. It's like, because I don't have too many painful days, but I'm happy to share them with Barbie and say, what do I do?
I had yesterday, I got a text from a friend, and she said, my husband's having pain in his thigh, like cramping in his thigh. What do we do? And I was like, it sounds like he might be low on electrolytes and try some Gatorade.
Yeah.
And I'm like smiling, like, really? Like, that's really a question? And she said, oh, thank you. Thank you so much for that answer. I thought he had sciatica.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Thank you, WebMD.
Yeah. Why didn't you, like, you don't know anything about sciatica. He just all of a sudden has a cramp in his leg and it's sciatica.
Yeah.
It doesn't, it's not a disease. Like, you don't just develop a disease in a
sciatica doesn't work like a cramp.
Yeah.
I will admit to this, that although I've always been very independent, so I've never really been very compassionate to people. I'm always like,
I didn't used to be.
yeah, I'm not. Ever since I've been sick ever since I was a kid. There's always something going on with my body. So for me, it's like, take an Advil. Like, what are you bothering me for? Like, I don't care. But I will admit to this, that over the years, unbeknownst to me, I have become more knowledgeable about things that people who know who I am or will message me, and I don't have to research stuff. I
come to you for advice.
Right? Yeah. Does that happen to you?
Absolutely. Almost daily.
Every day.
Yeah.
Every day. Especially with, running the foundation.
But even besides patients, like my sister will call and be like, my son has a fever and he's coughing a little bit. Should I go to the ER, or should I go to a doctor, or should I go to urgent care? Like, they call me about random non-pain related diseases.
Or even just how to navigate through the system.
Yeah, how to navigate through the system.
That's a big one.
For an acute injury, like they were in a car accident or something.
I tell people the biggest pain in the ass for me is going to intakes and paperwork.
I don't even do that. I have a one pager that I use because I've been so many times that I have my one pager and I print it off and I keep a copy in my purse.
Especially if you're dealing
and
with
I say, see attached, and I give them my paper so they can get it off of my paper. I don't have to rewrite it.
Especially if you're
That's a good idea.
Situation, if you're dealing with a situation that takes you to the emergency room or the doctor, you're not going to want to feel like filling all this stuff out. And even if you do, how much of it are you going to get right?
Yeah.
Print before you run. Print it out. Take it with you. Hand it off. Fill out your name at the top, and a lot of times that's it. I mean,
that's it.
You can do the short form; they'll still have you fill out something, but all the other stuff, just see attached, and it's so helpful. She used to have me, because her hand was not working so well. She used to have me write the stuff. I'm like, I can't write all this stuff. This is just, and every time you go, it's like the same thing you got to write. And not, how often are you going to get the same thing? You're going to leave stuff out. You just are.
Yeah.
And then the doctor thing gets written this way. And now all of a sudden you got the wrong diagnosis from the next doctor. It just snowballs.
Christian had a binder where he had folders and like my DNR, my power of attorney, my medication list, my diagnosis. Yeah. We had the binder, and everywhere we went,
that if you get a diagnosis and you know you're going to go through some changes and everything, you really do have to start working on your organization if you've never had to do that before. The better organized you can be, the better care you're going to get on down the line. It affects a lot.
Now, obviously, for people listening, there is stressful moments that come along with it. You can't avoid them. They're part of the situation. How do you guys handle stress?
I think I handle it better.
Barbie does. I kind of, she knows that sometimes I just need to blow steam off. And once I get past that, then I can, focus more clearly. But it depends on the level of stress and what it's about. Is it financial stress? Is it stress about your health? Is it stress about what's coming up? So different stresses, I handle differently. There's a lot of things that I can just shrug my shoulders on that Barbie can't get past, and vice versa.
Well, since we're talking about health issues,
right. When it comes to health,
I think it used to really stress us out more in the beginning. Sorry, really good. But you learn how to accept better, more easily. Become
more patient.
Well, in the beginning, we were denial about everything.
Just recently, I went through some challenging health stuff, and I went back to the doctor. Ken and I went together, and the nurse came in and she said, "What's your pain level?" And I I have chronic pain, and then I also had pain from a procedure. So I was trying to figure out in my head, do I tell her my chronic pain number, or do I tell her is she asking just about the surgery and how I'm doing after surgery? And I was trying to figure it out, and Ken's like, just give her a number. and and she left, and he's like, why are you so mad? And I was like, because I'm mad. It was a shitty procedure, and it didn't go well, and I need to make sure that I let the doctor and the nurse know that I am upset, and I need to get this out. Like, I am stressed about this, and, Ken calmed down a little bit, and then the doctor came in, and we had a conversation. She ended up crying, and I ended up crying, but we got it all out. So I used to just bottle it up and not say a word.
And by the end of this doctor appointment, she gave Barby her personal cell phone and said, "I'm an advocate for you," and it was great. But I think also.
But if I didn't let the stress out and I didn't express, look, you hurt me, and what magic word was I missing? I'm an advocate for myself. What did I miss that led this all wrong? And had I just sat there and just taken it and up my number's 8 and not done something about it, that would have been bad.
I'm glad you said that, because a lot of folks have this idea that we're not allowed to get mad, that we should be grateful that we're still alive, that you've been through so much. Aren't you happy that you're? No, like, I'm not always happy.
Right.
Like, just because I don't have cancer anymore doesn't mean I'm thrilled. I still have a hole in my belly, and I still have pain.
You're happy about the things that you're grateful for. You don't have to be happy all the time for things that come upon you that you have to be faced with, without your own,
You still have to get through them, but you don't have to be happy about it.
Right. And I think as far as like the stresses, it's easier for her to deal with her stress if I'm with her, and vice versa. I mean, I can deal with my stress easier when I have her around me. Because you just know each other, and it's a soundboard, and this person, she's not going to get mad at me because when I say this, because she knows I'm stressed or under stress, and so she knows how to handle that differently. So it's really, your partner is
you gotta believe. I think you've got to believe that your partner's on your side, regardless of what they say. You gotta know in your heart that they're on your side. Otherwise, it won't work.
Absolutely. Right. I 100% agree with that. And like I was saying about this doctor, when the nurse said that, and Ken's like, just give her a number. It's like, wait, aren't you on my side? They treated me crappy. Like, but we got that out before the doctor came in. And so we got back on the same page before the doctor came in.
And she was at the point of ready to leave before the doctor even came in.
I did. I wanted to leave. I was like, I wasn't going to have that. I'm never going to see this doctor again because she's an idiot.
Yeah. Well, it turns out that she wasn't the idiot. It was the anesthesiologist in this case. Okay. But, had she just reacted on her first instincts or her stress, bad decisions can be made. And I honestly think had we left, that would have been a bad decision because she turned out to be a wonderful, educated, and it wasn't even her fault that we were mad at. What we were mad at wasn't her fault.
Got it. Yeah,
but she went along with it. She took the other doctor's side instead of meeting her patient's side.
She supported the doctor because of him and his experience.
Right. Well, but he was wrong. I'm glad you guys are talking about that because it does. We should not always take their word at face value.
Right.
That's laughable because I totally agree. That's so true. It's like in the beginning, that's how I think we'd have been in much better shape. I think Barby would be doing better had we not listened to a few of those doctors.
Yeah. Because I know that I walked in, mine was anal cancer, and the tumor was right in the sphincter, and they were telling me that I was fat or that I needed to go on a diet because I was bloated because I couldn't go to the bathroom. but so I weighed more. So they were just telling me that I was fat, that I need to go on a diet, that I was eating junk food. What was the other one? Take diuretics because I was just stuffed up.
So it sounded like you got a lot of advice from uneducated people.
Yeah, and then finally I was like, this is not, like, all I'm eating is soup for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I am not eating enough to be fat. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
you're just talking to uneducated people that want to throw their advice around and say, buck up, soldier. Yeah. I'm sure you can just get through it.
Yeah. But I'm really glad that you guys are showing this real side to the couple, because Christian and I would be in the doctor's office like that too. And the doctor would step out and Christian would be like, well, why did you tell him everything? And I'd be like, yeah. Well, screw you. And then the doctor would come in and was like, so where are we going for lunch?
Yeah.
What are we doing after this? But we knew that we couldn't keep that energy of being upset at each other too long.
Right.
First of all, we didn't have the energy for it. And second, it's just long enough. It's like a tea kettle. It's just long enough to hear it boil and whistle. And then you're like, okay, turn it off. We're done.
And reduce the heat.
Yeah.
It's sometimes though I feel like I got to be the tea kettle whistle.
Oh, don't put us in the kitchen.
Yeah.
She's not equipped to be in a kitchen.
I don't want to know your kinky stories right now.
You can watch Extreme Time Cheaters on TLC.
I wasn't going there.
For those of you listening, every time
tea kettle.
Every time I talk to you, these two, there is some sense of like,
underlying circumstance.
Yeah, some underline of gutter conversation going on.
There's always some kind of conversation under the belt with these people.
Now
we have to keep our endorphins up and have fun.
I don't care what pet name you have for his thing. You don't bring his endorphin into the picture here.
Yeah. Well, get out of the kitchen.
Yeah.
That's going to be code word.
Take your hand off his endorphin, Barbie.
Wait.
Now,
that didn't do it for me, honey. I'm sorry.
Yeah. You rubbed his head in front of me.
Yeah.
So
with your hands above the table.
I was going to say back to health. I actually had a doc. You said like what kind of weird things happen. One of them, I have gastroparesis, where your stomach gets paralyzed and it doesn't move, it doesn't process food, and I went through many like upper and lower endoscopies and had internal bleeding and all kinds of stuff happen.
She's been probed
a few times, and 7 to be exact, both directions. But the doctors sat there, and Ken didn't go with me on this visit, and the doctor said, I didn't find anything wrong with you. And I said, I am going to need that in writing to take to my primary care doctor. So
45 minutes later,
I'm going to sit here and wait for you to get that written up, that nothing is wrong. And he was like, okay. 45 minutes later, I had 8 new diagnoses. And he actually shared my medical records with me.
Wow.
And there was something wrong. And I have gastroparesis, and I have internal bleeding, and I have...
But it turns out we ended up firing him.
Yeah.
We got a new doctor, and it turns out the surgeon, because another episode sometime later where she was bleeding internally, passing blood.
26 inches of my
ended up going
intestines
to the hospital.
Wow.
She was admitted, almost had to have a blood infusion. And they did another scope, and they found like 24 inches of intestine that was just dried out. It was white, it had no blood.
Well, definitely in the world of pain and suffering, you're right up there with, what is it in my stomach knowledge? You're right up there with Elizabeth Taylor.
Elizabeth.
But
Taylor.
Before we run out of time,
At least it's a Taylor.
It's from Still Magnolias. Watch the movie. But before we run out of time, I want people to know about eye pain.
Featurettes?
I'm sorry, no. Eye Pain Foundation.
Oh, okay.
Because I just worked with you guys. I was very honored to be chosen as one of your pain representatives.
Featurette.
And featurette, yeah, that's the word, featurette. And I talked about pain and HIV, which Thank you for giving me the time and the space. Tell folks about iPaint Foundation.
Sure. iPaint Foundation has 4 areas of focus: education, awareness, social, and access to care. And we have a lot of projects that are going on under each of those 4 areas throughout the year. And some of our most notable are our webinar series, our Music Moves Awareness Project, our iPaint featurettes, which we're so excited to have you as a 2018-2019 featurette and share your story in as many ways as we can. And we also have the iPaint Pop Challenge, where we ask people to have the nerve to be heard and pop a balloon to make noise and then share their story. And we have our iPaint Living magazine, and our biggest project every year is called Nervember, where we take the month of November and use it each day to raise awareness about a specific disease that causes nerve pain and burning fire pain, and talk about the tips, tools, and symptoms and things you need to know about that condition to plant little seeds in society, as well as giving daily tasks to patients around the world to participate, where they can win prizes. And in past years, we've had up to 47 million people participating around the world in that project. So it's been a very successful project, and that's one of my favorites, not just because I invented the word Nervember, but in the whole project, but because it has grown worldwide incredibly in our circles, and it's something to be really proud of.
That project really did help us become an international foundation and heard around the world. So and I don't think I can really. I mean, I could add more, but she really summed it up great.
Cool.
Our featurettes are also played in doctors' offices, over 2,000 doctors' offices across the country. So Daniel's featurette, along with the other featurettes, will be played in those provider offices, and it's reaching patients when they don't even know, like they're there to hear about their own situation, but they can see like there's hope, there's help, speak up, speak out, and it really is a benefit to patients to see and hear other patients while they're sitting there in the waiting room.
You tell me one patient, you find a patient that doesn't want to hear from somebody that's going through what they are.
When you're going through something horrible, you're like, who else is going through something horrible?
You want to hear from that person that has already gone through this. Yeah. You would skip a doctor appointment to hear from that person.
Yeah. So when will these new featurettes be out?
They will start coming out at the end of February 2018, and we'll do the short versions first. One each week will be released for 3 months, and then we'll be doing, they'll be released into the doctor's offices, as well as each of the featurettes will also have a write-up in iPaint Living magazine, and we'll also be doing some radio interviews with each of the featurettes on different radio shows and podcasts. So
nice.
It's basically a 2-year project to tape it, get them out, and then market it, promote it, and really share the stories as much as we can in any fashion we can.
I'm excited.
Well, let's not forget funding.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited to help. I'm excited that I was able to help, and I'm available for anything else that you need. So
thank you.
Keep counting on me.
We did put a sneak peek behind the scenes, a short little video clip out.
It's out now.
So to get people prepared for featurettes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Well,
I think it was on just Facebook. Was it just Facebook?
I thought Facebook and YouTube, but maybe just Facebook.
Okay. I'll look for it. If not, send me the link, please, so we can post it on our.
We will link it to you.
Yes.
Yeah. Please, yes.
And people can find out more about iPaint, all of our projects and what we're doing. We do also have an app, but our website is internationalpaint.org.
Okay. And we'll post that for everybody listening. We'll post that on our Facebook page, so you can go check them out. We've kind of gone beyond, so we're going to go. We haven't done our words of wisdom yet. So whoever wants to go first, what words of wisdom do you have for our listeners?
You go first.
Okay. Words of wisdom. I believe humanity is equipped with hope. And I think you can think about that for a minute and take it different places, but it's so true. I think everybody has hope. Everybody wants hope. Everybody searches for hope when they're going through difficult situations. Therefore, every human is equipped with hope. Don't give up on it. It is true. Hope is true. Hope is real. It is available. You've just got to find it and look in the right places, and you will find it.
Cool.
And my words of wisdom are that there's hope and there's help, and never stop advocating for yourself. And then once you got that down, start speaking up and advocating and sharing your story so that other people can get the hope and help that they need as well.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. So we'll make sure to post these words of wisdom videos up for you guys. Again, for everybody listening, we have been talking to Ken and Barby with International Pain Foundation. I'm hoping that you guys, when you're listening to this, will... Gets me emotional. But I hope you'll understand that being sick is not your fault. Being sick is not of your doing. And I'll put me as the example. I did not ask for HIV. I did not ask for arthritis. I didn't ask for cancer or an ostomy. That's just what I've been dealt. What I do have control over is how I handle parts. It's how I handle the pain, the frustration, and then how I handle where and how to share the information and the knowledge that I've gathered. Everything after the diagnosis is my responsibility. And I have a say in my treatment. I have a way in the way I'm being treated, not just medically, but personally. Because sometimes people see you sick, and they're even in the medical field. I don't know if you guys agree with me. Nurses or doctors, they see you in pain, and they take that as a sign of weakness, and they will try to overstep you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, certainly.
Over and over and over again.
And
certainly.
So if you are out there listening and you're like, oh my God, I'm just like Barbie and Daniel, or you're the caregiver and you're like, I get where Ken is coming from. Remember that once that diagnosis and you've confirmed and reconfirmed that that's right, everything that happens after that, you have control over. What you're going to do next, what's going to happen. Of course, you're not going to do your own surgeries, but check on medications, check on procedures, check your doctor's reputation. If you don't like the way a nurse looks at you, because I had to kick out some nurses because they didn't like gay people. I'm like, you've got to leave.
Not because I'm gay, but I've had to
be
kick
your
out
own
nurses.
best advocate, whatever that means.
Yeah. And trust that your partner has your best interest, even when you don't think it's the best thing, because pain can mess up with your head, and what you think sometimes is not the right thing. But
very true.
You've got to count on your partner to be there and say, hey, I got you, right?
Yep.
Makes sense?
Absolutely.
Guys, we're running out of time. We're up to the hour. Thank you so much. Again,
it's been fun.
I want to, not to kiss your butts because I want the best featurette, but I was the first one to do mine, so I'm just going to put that out there.
And you'll probably be the first one released. And you did an amazing job.
I'm doing my happy dance right now.
Yeah, we're releasing them slowly,
shake the
one at a time. And so, yeah, once yours is released, it's going to be out there through the whole duration. And you did a wonderful job, and you've got a story that needs to be heard, and people are going to learn from you.
And we're excited to help you share it.
And absolutely happy to give you a platform another platform to have your voice heard. You've got a great story.
And thanks for giving us one.
Absolutely.
No, I mean, I was going to say, from one activist or advocate to another, I'm talking to Barby first, I totally respect where you're coming from. I respect, that we carry our soapbox with us everywhere we go. And sometimes we don't even need an invitation to get on it. It's something triggers you, and you just have to share your experience. And that takes, not because I do it too, but because I recognize it. It's so much courage and to do it. For everybody listening, he's blowing a balloon, and I'm going to post that video online just for
well, this is for you in the pain community, because I believe all the pain community, everybody in the pain community, have the nerve to be heard. We have the nerve to be heard. Do you have the nerve to be heard?
Woo! I even closed my eyes.
Nerve to be heard.
And so thank you, Barbie, for stepping up for the people with pain and being a voice when somebody is too much in pain to have a voice. And then Ken, I just met you at the shoot, and you were, because I had a wonderful caregiver. Thank you.
Something to compare it to.
Yes, and I'm like, I wish he was white, but
you wish Ken was white?
No, my Christian was white. Yeah, I wish he had balloons, but he didn't have a balloon to pop, so he's falling behind a little bit.
That's okay. I know he has the nerve to be heard. That's
yes. But you were there at the shoot, and you were just so compassionate, and you were so supportive.
Well, thanks for noticing.
That's my baby.
Thanks for noticing. It wasn't an act. It's very sincere and true in every way.
Shut up. You were supportive, and the moment you and I talked, and we kind of bantered a little bit, I was like, I like this guy. Like he's good.
Mutual. Feelings mutual. And
most of all, because you didn't make me feel sick. And that's,
it goes a long ways when you can walk away feeling better, when you can walk away from somebody feeling better than what you did when you met the person or was before you met them, goes a long ways. And I've always kept that. A friend of mine a long time ago said, that's one thing that I always look for is like, do I feel better after leaving this person or being around this person? Yeah. And that is I try to keep that in the front of my mind. Is this person going to feel better after having met me?
Yeah.
And I truly, honestly try to keep that in mind.
I remember somebody telling me that in a clinic. I was there to see my doctor, and they were there to see the doctor. And we started, instead of talking about what are you here for, what are you here for, I think I noticed their shoes or something. And I was like, where'd you get those shoes? And then we started talking about shoes and clothes. And he turned around and he says, thank you for not talking about sickness.
Right.
And I was like, wow, I didn't even think about it, but I didn't want to talk about what was wrong with me. I didn't want to go through the whole, what are you here for? What are you here for? What medications are you on? It was just about, let's just talk about shoes and clothes and forget for a moment that we're in a doctor's waiting room.
Yep.
And to get thanked for that, I was like, wow, that's pretty awesome. So when I encounter other caregivers who don't want to talk about it anymore either, like, let's just have a regular dude conversation. Right. And that's what we did. We were just chit-chatting. But I left there and I got in the car and I told Christian, that was such a fantastic morning. I'm like, I just walked away so happy.
That's awesome.
And
that gives me chills. That gives me chills. I love hearing that.
Yeah. So when the opportunity came to have y'all on my show, I was like, of course I want them on my show. Like these guys are, super. They're close friends now. Like we have an understanding. Yeah. So that's awesome. Please still keep your distance. The restraining order is still in effect.
Well, we are in Arizona.
So yeah, so please.
I will be in Chicago with you, coming up for Healthy Voices.
Before we finish, Healthy Voices 2018 is it's an international conference for advocates in Chicago. Barbie and I are both advisors this year. So I'll let you handle the invitation part.
Well, Healthy Voices is looking for advocates and people that are wanting to learn how to speak up better on social media and in their health circles to come to Chicago and share their stories, share their experience, and also learn how to be a better advocate socially and electronically. And if you think that you fall into that, you can apply at healthyvoices.com. And hurry up because the deadline's coming up. But we want to see you. And they have half new people and half returning people every year. So just because you haven't been before, you still could be chosen. And there's opportunity for everybody. They try to get the best people that can learn the most and also teach the most to attend. So we hope that you guys if you're listening and you are interested in attending Healthy Voices and meeting Daniel and myself in person, then apply, try out. You have to submit a little video. It's a really simple application. Don't make it too hard, but yeah, we'd love to see you there and interact with you as well.
Which reminds me, I have to do my own application. I haven't done mine yet.
Oh.
Get on it.
I know. I feel like you already did yours, didn't you?
I did it within like 10 minutes after the application came out.
I figured.
I was probably first.
I haven't had time.
I love watching people try to keep up with her.
I'm
an extreme time cheater, and I literally...
Remember I told you there were qualities that I saw.
Yeah.
I
hang up with you guys, and I'm headed out to do another interview.
Awesome.
Good.
And I just came back from another interview. That's why I was running late. So
keep it going.
3 interviews this morning. Ha.
That's
How's that, Ken? How's that for being busy?
That's awesome.
Hey, we got you as one of our featurettes, so there.
Yeah, I love that. I feel like we should have like hats with feathers for featurettes. Like it just sounds like a...
I'm not quite sure about that one.
Oh, come on, Ken. I look sexy in feathers.
You too.
I'm sure you do. I don't have any doubt.
All right, guys. Well, everybody's been listening to Ken and Barby, President and Vice President of International Pain Foundation. Guys, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us. Absolutely.
We'll definitely have to find time to come to Arizona to visit you guys. Or next time you're in California, you have to come down to Laguna.
We'd love to. We love it there.
We love coming to California.
Don't hang up. Let me say goodbye to everybody. For everybody listening, thank you for being here today, listening to the show. Go visit us at abnormalentertainment.com where you can find all the shows on the network. Check them out. Find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at Little Mexican or Little Mexican Productions. Check us out on Facebook for Zodiacs and Candles, the new show on Little Mexican Productions Network, where we have some more shows coming up, so stay tuned for that. For now, this is Daniel Garza thanking you for listening, and hey, put it together.
Whoop, whoop.
And I feel pain. I'm in pain. I'm in pain. I'm in pain. I'm in pain.
Subscribe to Put It Together on iTunes, Stitcher, and at abnormalentertainment.com/putittogether. Find Put It Together on Facebook and tweet Daniel at Lil Messican, LILMESICAN. And for more podcasts, comics, books, movies, and more, head to abnormalentertainment.com.
You've been listening to the Abnormal Entertainment Network.